There is no such thing as distinct wings within Hezbollah. You don't need to listen to me to understand that. Just listen to Hezbollah officials themselves. And as I laid out in my written statement, there are many examples, and I only gave you a few, of Hezbollah political personnel engaging in explicitly terrorist and also criminal and military behaviors.
We have one real case that I'm aware of in Australia. Are any of the witnesses familiar with Mr. Ali Haidar and his case? I'll just for the benefit of those watching who may not be, this is a person who was charged with violent offending, and New South Wales Police sought a supervision order over him because among his, in addition to his violent offending, he had a number of social media posts, tattoos and other paraphernalia associated with Hezbollah and also the Amal party. That application was not successful, according to Justice Davies, because he said that the Commonwealth had not listed the whole organisation of Hezbollah as a terrorist entity, only the ESO, and it wasn't possible for the court to determine whether this person's support was merely for the political entity of Hezbollah rather than the terrorist organisation. So that's a real example. Do any witnesses have a comment on that case?
This is the AIJAC submission in a section that is entitled "Designating Hezbollah in its entirety would not damage Australia's ongoing state-to-state relationship with Lebanon." And in a large part of this section of the submission is taken up with a summary of work done by the Abba Eban Institute. This is Ron Prosser, the former Israeli ambassador to the UN, is the head of that institute. I wonder if you could just talk us through what appears to have been, from the description in your submission, a very substantial piece of work over a 20-year period looking at the effect on relations between quite a large number of countries and Lebanon of proscription of Hezbollah. The conclusion which you set out is it's not possible to detect any adverse consequences for relations between any of these countries and Lebanon, and of course there are now 22 countries which have proscribed Hezbollah in its entirety. But I wonder if you could just speak to that research a little bit more.
Thanks, Mr. Dreyfus. Yeah, it's very interesting research because it's actually quantitative, and the discussion around this is usually quite qualitative. So this particular piece of research looked at a number of countries and considered three parameters, which were the disbursement of humanitarian aid, official development assistance, and also trade relations between a list of countries who had designated different portions of Hezbollah and also with Lebanon. And it tracked those three parameters over, as you said, over a decade. And it indicated that there was no substantial diminishing of the relationship between any of those countries, Australia included, with Lebanon as a result of designating certain sections of Hezbollah. So there were definitely fluctuations in aid provided and economic relationships, but there was no correlation between those fluctuations and decisions taken towards Hezbollah.
It was only in 2019 the UK listed the entirety of Hezbollah, and I think it's important that they've said since then, Senator Javid in particular and others, that the strong ties with Lebanon remain. It's possible to prescribe all of Hezbollah and retain valuable working relations with Lebanon. But specifically and relevant to the Australian case, he pointed out the 3-month grace period was given to British diplomats to sort of rejig their relationship within Lebanon. So that would be sort of one of the guidelines I think that would be useful in the Australian case as well, that I'm sure plays on the minds of our diplomats and officials as well. The other point, just to reiterate what Naomi Levin said before, is that prescribing the entirety of Hezbollah really doesn't have a negative effect on maintaining economic relationships, maintaining aid with Lebanon.